junk.
How can you eat raw fish? Ugh.
Don't even wiggle a toe or I'll turn you into a lead soldier.
And I don't know who you are, mister, but there's been a big mistake here.
The only mistake you made was getting drunk when you should have kept running.
We are not going to allow any more big plays tonight, gentlemen. What are you looking at? You want to be out there in that field so bad?
Yes, sir.
Then show me something!
It's Cleanup in Aisle 9, or Yeah But, with Senator Susan Kent. Love having her on. Senator, how are you today?
I'm doing well, and during the break I went and cleaned something. So, that's the way my life is.
A little nervous energy, got to be.
I just got a lot of cleaning and cooking to do today.
How cray do you get that sort of thing? Is your house have to be spot shine from top to bottom, not a bed of dust?
We're just gonna, not embarrass ourselves. So, yeah.
That's it? Mm-hmm. Is that you in a nutshell, or just because this is so big, not enough time? Or are you one of those that, hey, I live here. If you can't handle it, leave?
Yeah, I have relaxed a little bit, over time. I don't have the need for things to be just like super. I mean, it's clean, but it's just not like
livable clean.
I'm not pulling all the furniture out and dusting the baseboards behind it, kind of thing.
Okay, good. Then you're semi-normal. That's the first indication I've had of it, so that's good.
I wondered if that might be the case.
I want to hit you up with a weird story from yesterday, and it's a big story. It's going to be a big story. But the way I found out about it, so on X, I get a thing that says Governor Walz says, I'm keeping an eye on the situation, and that was it. I'm like, people, we all don't have the same feed. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I had the exact same reaction because I saw the same, because I was in meetings and stuff yesterday, so I was like, what's happening?
Well, and I live in Blue Earth. This doesn't show up on my local radio. How am I going to find this out?
I couldn't find anything about it, so yeah.
Well, yeah, because then news organizations are going to wait until it's confirmed and all the rest. I mean, so anyway, he needs to sharpen his foot. Oh, by the way, I'll keep an eye on the incident happening in St. Paul with the police. That would have been more helpful. So anyway, throw it out to the governor to help his people. But that being said, what ended up happening, as I understand it, with this story, is this morning, ICE or federal agents on the scene, Homeland Security investigations, part of ICE, were going after a guy. This guy supposedly is here illegally and has some criminal activity. I don't know. But they're going after him. He escapes somehow, and he gets into this house in St. Paul. As I understand it, the ICE guys call St. Paul and say, hey, we're going into this house, going to need a little backup, and the St. Paul Police Department shows up. Now it's a thing. You get half a dozen guys in my neighborhood, the neighborhood's going to come out and find out what's going on. So far, it's like, okay, these things happen. What I don't get, and this is what I need you to talk me off the curb here for, because I think we're getting to a really bad point. The people outside, the non-cops and the non-professionals, the neighbors, I want to say rioted. We're throwing rocks and things like that. They're pushing back with the police, and the police end up dropping off the tear gas and the bombs, and it became a huge thing. And I'm like, okay, no one could have possibly, I don't believe, knew who the guy was who broke into that house and ran into that house. But instinctually, these people hate the law enforcement or the idea of ICE or all that so much, they got in a confrontation with the cops. We don't know if this guy was picked up for loitering or if he's a child molester. We don't know, but they went instinctively against the cop. I think we're at a real boiling point, and we have to find a way back. You can not like ICE. These are your St. Paul Police Department. These are your neighbors. These are the people that, I don't know how to fix this, but this should scare the hell out of everybody.
Well, I have some ideas on how to fix it.
Okay.
And that a big part of it is, and something I saw from yesterday was a woman in her St. Paul yard in her property. And it was hard to tell because there was a lot going on in the street from the video that I saw. But it was, the people who look like the federal guys. It was not St. Paul police, right? It looked like some kind, whether it's, everybody says ICE, there's Homeland Security, there's all these different federal people. But she is telling these people, you're on my property. Do you have a warrant with my address on it for you to be on my property? And it was not like they thought he was hiding in her house, or that did not appear to be the case. It's like, but they were just camped out on her property while they were doing whatever they were doing. And she's, and so I say that because part of the frustrations that a lot of people have with these federal operations, because allegedly we were going to go after the hardened criminals.
Yep.
We have a constitution, we have laws, we have federal laws, we have state laws about due process, so that if you're going after somebody because you believe you have warrants, there are legal processes to make that happen, and that has been consistently upended. We are consistently hearing there's so many reports of completely innocent people, including American citizens or legal American residents, fully documented. So the abuses of this system are significant, right? It's not just like a couple, problems.
Let me join you right here in this.
But let me just finish this. The reason I'm saying that is that people, I believe, are rightly objecting and resisting, if you will. Now I'm going to define terms here. Then like we saw this in Chicago, where people would blow whistles if they knew ICE was in the neighborhood. It's perfectly legal to blow a whistle, right? Now, when things get physical, that's where you start having problems. And I know a lot of the people who are working in this resistant space are encouraging the resistors to do not break laws, do not vandalize, do not do things that cross that line. We want this to stay peaceful, and we want it to be an exercise of free speech.
But this did not get peaceful yesterday. Let me throw this at you. Let me throw this at you.
So it's not okay for that to happen. If that happened, right?
And I'm granting you the idea that, like I think it was in Chicago, they took this whole building down, pulled everybody out, and found the two bad guys. Everybody else didn't end up arresting anybody. So I'm giving you that. The idea that we have, if you 20 million, 18 million, however, I don't know how we're going to get them one at a time, but this is one of those cases. They were after one guy they felt was bad. And we said, no, we're so against every one of you now, including the St. Paul police. They were there, that we're going to do this. You can't have it both ways. You can't go after a single guy if they're bad guys
apparently
or not.
Not the way that happened, though. Apparently the reason that St. Paul police was, because if they had a warrant to arrest somebody for heinous crimes, because they had evidence and had gone through due process, and there was a warrant to arrest this guy, I'm pretty sure the St. Paul police would help with that. But
they were there helping. That's my point.
No, that's what I'm saying. They were not there helping with that. They were helping to keep things calm and safe. Right.
Well, that's my point. That didn't work. Yes.
But that's an important distinction, Al. If they were doing this to go after somebody because they had a warrant for criminal activity,
you're missing my point on this whole thing. My point on this whole thing is we are going to go against those we literally pay and tell to do this. You can hate it, you can protest it, you can do whatever. This gal you're talking about, get off my lawn. Get off my lawn. You don't have a warrant.
Get off my property.
Okay. Here, legally it does, but here's my point, and I'm going to go back to the Hoffman.
Legally it does.
Here's my Hoffman and Hortman shooting, and I only do that because it's very tight for all of us. Please all run up to the Hortman household. There's something bad. There's a bad guy in there. It doesn't matter his nationality. There's a bad guy there. They swarm. They go around the house. They have to use the next door neighbor's property because you know why? It's a little safer. They got to do their thing. And we start screaming. We start screaming, get off my property. You're not helping the police. They weren't after that gal.
That was not what was happening. What they were doing, they could have moved to the sidewalk and they could have done exactly what they were doing.
But that lady had no idea what they were after. That guy had a gun, didn't have a gun. My point is the neighbor's coming in. I don't like you. Get off my lawn. Maybe you're going to save me from getting shot, but they don't care. We're to a point we don't trust the police, and we got to get over it.
No, that's not.
That is true.
No. That is not an accurate generalization of what's happening. It's not that people don't trust the police in this case, because the police, I think, are generally in St. Paul and in other cities managing their behavior so that they're not coming after their citizens in unlawful ways. Right? It is one thing to be there to maintain the peace.
You can't have it both ways. They're throwing rocks at these people.
And I already said that's not okay. I already said that is not okay. That's what crosses the line. But if people are there to exercise their right to free speech and expression, to protest, that's legitimate. And the police may show up to maintain calm and safety, public safety, to keep people safe. And if the people cross the line, they're going to have to face the consequences of that. But what this ignores is the massive abuse of power and the trampling of rights of citizens and legal residents, and an absolute overreaction because people thought we were electing Donald Trump. People thought they were voting for Donald Trump to deport people who are here illegally, who are committing crimes.
Yeah, and how do you get to them? My point is, you can't get 20 million of them and not get a couple of the wrong fish in the net.
20 million of them who are here committing crimes. That's the problem.
Isn't the crime coming here illegally?
That is not a crime. That is a civil
offense. It's illegal.
Offense. That is a civil offense. It gets you like a traffic ticket.
Yeah, but then you got to leave.
That's not a crime. That's not
but
a
you
crime.
got to leave. We get you. Here's your ticket. Leave. But if you don't leave, now you've trespassed, which is a criminal offense.
And if you're deported and you come back, now it's a crime.
So and we should.
But
great. Let's
that's
send them back.
not what people voted for Trump.
Oh, I disagree. I think
no.
Those of us on the right side wanted that all done.
The surveys are off the charts. Americans didn't want innocent people working in our communities to be harassed and detained and treated the way they're being treated.
All right. We got to go because as far as the numbers, this massive overreach and all the Americans that have been caught up in all this, I bet you couldn't name 5.
There's hundreds in a list.
Could you name 5? Are there hundreds out of the 2 million that have been let out of the country?
Let's talk with Kilmar Abrego. I mean, he's a legal resident.
You're talking the Maryland dad?
Yeah.
The guy who beat his wife? The guy who was actually carrying people from one part of the country to the next, mass numbers. What do you call it?
He's
slave
a legal
trading.
Resident.
That's who you're going to stick up for.
We have to go to break.
We do. We absolutely do.
Yeah, we'll come back and talk more about this.
And I hope they find some country that'll take him. We got to go after. We'll be back with this. I want to talk SNAP. The SNAP problem. We'll talk. We got a lot. It's Susan Kent on the Al Travis Show.
When the stakes are high.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
Easily offended? The Al Travis Show is not for you. The Al Travis Show. All sides are welcome.
Senator Susan Kent and all her Twin Cities friends are spoiled rotten. This just in. My wife picked a gift from my son who lives in St. Paul. Wanted to get it delivered to his place. Big gift. It's a Christmas tree, quite frankly. Ordered it at 8 o'clock. Target had it delivered by 10. What in God's green earth? What is there a retired guy sitting at Target in the warehouse? Oh, the Travises need a tree. Let me walk and go get it and go drop it. How is that possible?
Well, I'll tell you, I live really close to one of the big Target distribution centers. It's been here for a long time, so yeah, they're yeah.
Here,
yes, and I say this as somebody who I have another place where we spend a lot of time in Lutzen. Yeah. It's so many miles to the nearest Walmart or whatever.
I sent a letter. I sent a card to my mother. She lives 5 blocks away. The postman picks the card up, drives it to the Blue Earth Distribution Center, which sends it up to Mankato to be sorted, to then come back down here, and they go, oh, that's got to go to her house. It takes 5 days. You guys get a Christmas tree delivered from Target in 2 hours.
Do you want me to talk about how the Republicans have been undermining the post office for so long because we want to privatize it? And let
if this is undermining it, you have nothing to complain about. Good God, that is just amazing to me, and I find it almost impossible. A guy had been sitting there waiting. Order came in. Let me go throw it over to my bike. I'll ride it right over. There's no way. I'm stunned, but. Thank you to Target, I guess. What the heck? Not the thing I want to talk about today.
Can I come back? I just want to finish something because
well, then we won't do the snap because we're going to run out of time, and I want to cut you short on that too. Go ahead.
I just want to say this pretty quickly. We have a constitution and we have laws, and if Kilmar Abrego Garcia or anybody else is credibly accused of a crime, then there are ways to convict him. And if he is an immigrant who commits a crime, then he can be legally deported, as I understand it, according to the laws. But what's happening with the Trump administration and the Trump Department of Justice is that they grab somebody and then they run around and they try to make up excuses for why it's okay to keep them there. And by the way, they keep doing it to actual Americans.
This is really the wrong one for you to hang your head on, because this guy was found guilty and told he could be deported. The problem was, they deported him to his home country, which is, he said, I don't want to go there because those are bad guys who want to hurt me. They deported him to the wrong country, so they got him back, and now they're sending him to who knows where.
He was here being protected from that country under asylum because he was at risk being there. And by the way, you're wrong, because I think it's El Salvador or Costa Rica that he said he wanted to go to. And they're like, fine, send him there. But they have absolutely flouted the laws in the way you're supposed to handle these things. And they have absolutely lied about his activities and what he's been accused of doing. I'm not saying I don't know all the details, but the point is, regardless, we can nitpick over an individual case. It's happening over and over and over again that there aren't warrants, that there is not a legal process happening. There's a building in Chicago where children are being traumatized, and there was nobody there that they ended up arresting.
And let me just ask you the one question in the last 90 seconds. I'll give you that. Let's say, and you want to say it's 20 million. Let's say there are 10 million people here who did not come here following our rules, because they don't want to call them illegal, undocumented, didn't follow the rules to get in. How does Senator Kent, how does the left say we get them out of here? Because you're going to say each one's got to go sit in front of a judge. We got to get them to do that. They didn't want to sit in front of the line to get here. You got to go sit in front of a judge. We'll discuss your case. How long to get, let's say, 10 million out?
If we could have a rational, bipartisan, congressional solution to immigration, we could legally make this happen, and they would. And because that's the other thing that's so obscene about what's been happening. There are people who are here going through the process to become legal citizens, and they're showing up for their court appointments, and they're getting hauled away by ICE. So this is, a ridiculous approach that we could solve.
But you didn't give me an answer of how. We'll just talk more. We'll come up. What's the plan? How do you get 10 million people through a court system and out or in, do you decide, in any kind of serious time frame?
We need to better fund the legal system to manage this, which we have not been doing at all. But we could absolutely create a system, a pathway to citizenship, which Democrats have certainly been arguing for a very, very,
well,
very
of course,
long
you
time.
Want somebody who came here without following our rules to be able to get here and then vote whoever you want to vote for. You haven't followed the rules.
The double standard, yes, we legally say you can't come in. Meanwhile, we hold the door open on the side by the big corporations who want their cheap labor. Right?
Oh, and I'm 100%. I just had this conversation with my brother. You know what? every corporation hires somebody who does not have their documentation should get
But-
paid $10,000 a day until they close her
But
down.
people were sent
Do it.
mixed signals, and they came here, and the system allowed them to do it, whether the legal system was permissible officially or not. And they've been working hard. They've been paying into the Social Security that they don't get
No.
access to. They've been paying taxes.
These people paying for
and-
people to pick the fruit are not paying their taxes under some illegal name just to keep them. They're not even paying them full wages. That's not what's going on. The Social Security
A lot of
Administration is
them
not
are.
making a massive amount of money from people they're not.
A lot of them
I-
are. They've
we're
worked
20
hard. They've
seconds
made
up.
a difference in our community.
You have
and
a
our
happy
economy.
Thanksgiving. I got to get it out because I only had 20 seconds. You have a happy Thanksgiving, you
You
and
too.
yours, and I hope you have egg rolls because that's what everybody should have.
I'm having turkey like a normal American. And sweet potatoes with marshmallows.
Yuck. Talk to you later. Appreciate
Bye.
you.